This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Fiscally responsible, financial geniuses, monetary magicians. These are things people say about drivers who switch their car insurance to Progressive and save hundreds. Visit Progressive.com to see if you could save. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary, not available in all states or situations.
Back for another episode of The Next Move presented by Coach Portal. And it's easy to think that earning a promotion or more responsibility comes down to calling the right play or leading a top-ranked unit. But what really builds trust with a head coach or coordinator? It's winning the small moments, the consistent, intentional actions that show you're reliable, prepared, and ready for more. Today on The Next Move, we're talking about how assistant coaches can earn more responsibility by showing up in the right ways every single day. And joining us to discuss that is the running backs coach at Indiana State University, Jaylen Banks. Jaylen, thanks for taking the time here.
Keith, I appreciate you having me. This is a great opportunity.
We've posed that question. What are the small moments that you need to win as an assistant coach to really get you to where the spot you want to be down the line?
If you're waiting for someone to kind of hand you responsibility, you'll probably never really get that opportunity. You won't get it. So you have to earn it through the way that you handle the small things. Coach Marty Long, I'll talk about it a little bit more later, but Coach Marty Long always used to tell me, you got to do the small before the large. So the moment no one sees, but the moment everybody will notice will be the difference in you earning more responsibility for yourself. So it's just 5 simple ways right here that, that you can do different things as an assistant coach in the small moments that's going to build trust, because everything moves at the speed of trust. And that's owning your role at the highest level, right? You got to own your responsibility. Whether it's scout cars or equipment setup, do it with great detail, pride. Like you got to sign off on it at the end of the day when you turn it in. That's going to be very important. And then people notice when you're consistent and don't cut corners. All right? I talk to my backs all the time about being consistently consistent. So that's going to show up and help you out as well. And then you want to be where your feet are. This is a great point here. My coach, Bob Shute, was the safety coach at Vanderbilt University. When I first got into coaching, that was his main point that he gave me. Be exactly where your feet are. You don't campaign for the next job while ignoring the one that you have. Coach Mallory talks about it all the time here. He tells us and lets us know at the greatest spot that you could be at, the best opportunity is where your feet are right now, here. Doing your current role well is the fastest way to grow your role. So if you embrace that role and you make sure that you're where your feet are, and you're not worried about the next opportunity, and you're just trying to be the best GA that you can be, the best QC you can be, the best volunteer intern you can be, that's going to go a long way in terms of your development. Anticipate. You got to be able to anticipate too. You want to anticipate and not wait on things. Right? You got to be forward thinking. Stay ahead. Anticipation. You got to anticipate the needs of the staff. Be ready before you're asked. Right? You should already have things prepared that you notice are going to make their job easy, and then help out the players in the program. The last few things here is just handle the non-glory jobs with energy. Whether it's the equipment, film cut-ups, or scout team, it's not about the tags. It's about the attitude. How you view what you do affects how you do what you do. You really got to feel grateful for that opportunity and attack it. Attack it with great enthusiasm. And then just earning trust in staff meetings and conversations. Speak when it adds value. Be prepared. Have ideas. Take notes. Be the coach others can count on when pressure hits. But the coaches who move up are the ones who've already shown they can handle more, long before they're officially given that job. So you just got to continue to grind and build on that. And then you'll be able to find yourself opening doors for yourself.
Coach, those are some great tips. And looking at, some of your experiences, what's maybe one of those small moments that you handled well that led to more responsibility?
So it was really my start, being a volunteer recruiting intern. It was a sacrifice that I had to make. I knew that I wasn't going to get paid for it. But in order to get my foot in the door, I literally, Cody, the DFO at the time, Cody could tell you, I was showing up to practice and literally stalking the guys. I was just showing them that I was going to be consistent. Like, I'm not getting paid, I don't have to be here, but look, I want to be here. And just getting my foot in the door as a volunteer recruiting intern, that was a small step, a little thing that I did. And like we talked about before, I embraced my role. Marty Long told me when I was in that role, I got to be able to do the small things before the large. So I grinded. I collected transcripts like no other. All right? I planned Coach Ianni's calls like no other, just with great pride. I tried to be the best practice DJ that existed. I was a practice DJ. Small things. All right? I was a practice DJ, so I tried to be the best practice DJ that existed. Like, I loaded and unloaded EQ trucks like I was trying to be an All-American at it. And I did all that stuff with great enthusiasm. And they noticed that. Because the next thing you know, I look up and I get an opportunity to be a GA. All right, and it was a blessing. But I continue to do the small things even in that role. I took initiative. I anticipated needs. I try to be proactive instead of reactive. And I continue to learn and grow in that role.
You obviously, along the way, have watched guys do some things behind the scene, and now as you have some of those younger guys working for you, see them doing it too. What are some of those things that you've seen that really earn that trust of the coaching staff?
That trust. There it is, the speed of trust. So one of the big things that you can do, right, and I learned this down at UL, actually, when I took a little stint to be a defensive GA for a quick second, is just making sure that you're being the first one in the office and then the last one out. And this is not about like desk guarding or anything like that. Like you're actually in there working on your craft. Like that's the most important thing you could do. Show that you're working on your craft and that it means something to you. And then also finding ways to connect with the players and help them out too. That's another little thing that you see that you recognize as a full-time coach. Okay, not only is he helping me out, he's doing a great job of echoing what we preach as a program, what I preach as a coach. And he's trying to connect with these players, so he could lead and teach and inspire these guys, right? So that's huge too as well. And sometimes you are that bridge, little do you know, between the coach and the players. So you got to own that role. And like I said, be good about developing that connection there. And then just having great attention to detail and present quality work when they're asked for it. All right? And that could be side projects, scouting reports, whatever it may be, as we talked about it. You got to be able to do these tasks with great enthusiasm. And when you do it, your name is going on that work. Your name is going on that piece of work at the end of the day. So is this something that when you sign off on it, you're going to be proud of? And then last but not least is just any way you can show your hard work and passion will always put you in a good light. So just like I said, be where your feet are, do everything with great enthusiasm, with great effort. Like I said, there you're going to start to build a foundation of opportunities for yourself.
Coach, to finish up here, what advice would you give a coach who wants to position themselves for more responsibility this season?
The biggest thing is just finding ways to make another coach's job easy. And you add to your value. That's the biggest thing. How can you build your value? Be solution-driven. Like the more problems you solve, the more needs you address, you're increasing your worth to that program. And then be a sponge. Be a sponge, be where your feet are, and always remain an unfinished product. Keep finding ways to get better. Be constantly growing and evolving.
Coach, I really appreciate you taking the time today, sharing some tips with us that definitely can help some coaches out there as they're looking to develop their careers and advance in this profession.
Yes, sir. Thank you. I appreciate you having me.
If you want to grow in your role, start with how you show up every day. Win the small moments and the big opportunities will follow. And when that next opportunity comes, make sure you're already on the radar. Upload your profile and resume to Coach Portal today so hiring coaches can see the work you've been putting in. Go to coach-portal.com, enter the code CC Podcast for a special offer, and make your next move.